There are three altcoins that I have been following that are showing this pattern that you see right here on screen. This is a very bullish pattern when it's going in an uptrend. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what I see, how I'm going to be trading this, and sharing with you where I'm going to be selling as well. So let's jump right in. So this pattern is called the diagonal, the expanding diagonal. This is a Elliott wave pattern. And shout out to Crypto Mento on Twitter for putting up this nice graphic. And on this graphic, you can see that this pattern looks like an expanding diagonal. This is one of the major and most common Elliott wave patterns that you will find, and it's showing up in the crypto markets on three different coins that I'm going to be sharing in just a moment. So just want to go over the expanding diagonal just so you could see what it looks like. This is a 5-wave impulse structure. So you have on this big section right here, wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And over the course of this 5 waves, you have price going up on waves 1, 3, and 5, and you have price pulling back on waves 2 and 4. There's also some overlap between these waves, and it creates this cone type of shape or this expanding diagonal, almost kind of like a megaphone. And so you can follow along with this price action and kind of get some probabilities of where price is going to go. So let's go ahead and jump into the first coin that I'm seeing this on. So the first coin that I'm seeing this on is Cardano. And Cardano has been in the crypto space for a while. It's been around for a while. And so just to break down kind of how we got here, this is also on a weekly chart on a logarithmic scale right over here on the right. It just helps me to see price a little bit better versus when, it's collapsing, going all the way up and all the way down. But you can view it on either one. It's just easier for me to see on a logarithmic scale. So during this last bull run that ended in 2021, we had an all-time high of right around $3.20. We've been pulling back ever since until we kind of got to the start of 2023. And that's actually the start of this expanding diagonal. And you also see that I have a Fibonacci retracement tool on this swing low and then up to the all-time high. Now with Fibonacci, that's totally for a separate video, but Fibonacci also helps to determine where price might return when it's making a pullback. There's different areas that it seems to be like a magnet for price to come back. And this is a known tool for traders. And so if you don't know what Fibonacci is, I highly recommend learning how to use Fibonacci in your technical analysis. It's also a big part of Elliott wave theory, and so we'll use that here. So this price went all the way up to the all-time high. And so I've got my swing low here with the Fibonacci tool all the way up to the swing high. And you can see that price came directly to the 0.5 Fibonacci level, almost like clockwork. And that's one of the main magnets, if you will. Price doesn't always come here, but you can see when it does, it's almost like people knew that it was going to come back to this price. And so it can help you to make investment decisions. So we got one bounce here, it bounced up. And then we also have this second bounce off of the 0.5 fib level. So we know that this is a good area of support. Now jumping into where we're coming up with this expanding diagonal. And you can see right here when it first touched the 0.5 Fibonacci level, we got this nice bump up. That's creating our wave 1, as you can see right here. Now, this is looking slightly different because we were coming from a downtrend into what's going to be an uptrend. So the price looks a little bit different, but essentially this would be a little bit elongated, but sometimes price does that. And these, diagrams and these drawings aren't always how it ends up being on an actual chart, but you can definitely see how it's taking shape. So price moves up to wave 1, all the way up to about 47, almost 46 cents, then retraces back down very close, actually wicking below the 0.5 Fibonacci level and creating this low right here. This would be our wave 2. And what I love to see on charts are these engulfing candlesticks. An engulfing candlestick, basically, you see this red one here, and then you see this green one. The green one is the engulfing candle because it engulfs the entire previous candle with it. It's taller, and it totally surpasses the high of this lower candle. And the entire range of this candle is bigger than the previous candle. That's why they call it an engulfing candle. And when it's found here near support, that's usually a bullish sign, and it signals a potential reversal and an uptrend. And so we saw that here, which went all the way up to almost 80 cents, to about 80 cents for wave 3. And that's also taking shape with this expanding diagonal. Now, one thing to point out is that we typically have some overlap when it comes to these waves. So wave 1, 2, 3, and now wave 4 is actually overlapping into the territory of wave 1, which is totally normal when it comes to a diagonal. Now, other parts of Elliott wave would say the rules is that wave 4 cannot enter the price territory of wave 1, but in the case of a diagonal, it can and it should. That's actually something that can give us confirmation that this is a diagonal and not a regular impulse wave of Elliott wave theory. And typically, what you'll also see is wave 3 be larger than wave 1, and that's exactly what we have here. And so wave 4 came down. It also touched this trend line, or that's kind of where we created the trend line right here at this higher low. So a higher low is we had a low here, and then it creates a higher low. For the top of wave 1, we had a high, and then with wave 3, we had a higher high. So now we are in the price discovery territory as far as where this might go. And if you look at the pattern, we know that wave 5 will typically go beyond wave 3 and much higher. So that is what is giving me confidence that this is a expanding diagonal. That is what we're looking for. That's the trade that we're looking to take. We know that this wave 5 is underway, and it should and will pass the top of wave 3 at some point. And we don't know when exactly it's going to pass wave 3, but what we can be confident in is that it will pass at some point. Now, I've got another thesis or another forecast prediction of when the crypto market will top out. But what I'm mainly concerned with is price going above this level 3. That would be kind of a conservative prediction that it's going to go above 80 cents just because it has to in order to form the pattern. Now, I actually think it will go probably closer to $1 at some point. And that will be just, with this pattern, and there's plenty of room to go. In fact, sometimes what you'll see with these expanding diagonal patterns is once they finish somewhere, maybe up here around $1, they might pull back and then create this tail that just goes absolutely crazy. And so I would be looking for something like that, but not until we get maybe somewhere near $1. And this could happen probably before the end of 2025. That's kind of my prediction as far as the timeline goes. And so it could get up to all-time highs. It could stay below all-time highs. Who knows? But conservatively, I will say that it will at least hit, $1. It will most definitely go above 80 cents, in my opinion. Looking at least $1, see what happens after that, and then we could go much higher. The next coin that is showing this pattern is Vechain. Vechain is one that I've been holding on to since the last bull run. It's one that caught my attention. I thought it had a great use case when it comes to supply chain. So definitely check out Vechain if that's something of interest to you. And so what we have here, we also have that expanding diagonal pattern forming, but just for fun, let's see what the Fibonacci is doing. And sometimes the Fibonacci doesn't always match up depending on if you have wicks on your swing high or your swing low. So I'm just bringing it up towards where we have candle closes. And so now when I do that, you can see just how on point this Fibonacci is, hitting right at the 0.618 level. This is another very common level for price to retrace back to. So we've got a couple touches on the 0.618. So that gives me confirmation that we've got good support there. And as we talked about on Cardano, we see this price going up for wave 1, back for wave 2, up for wave 3, back for wave 4. And we have that beautiful engulfing candle. Now that doesn't always happen, but for me, it just gives me more confirmation. And we actually saw it back here on the start of wave 2, this engulfing candle right here as well. And for this pattern, I think that we can see Vechain go somewhere up to 7 cents. I think somewhere between 7 and 8 cents is where we will see Vechain go in this particular pattern. Now, obviously, this is well below the all-time high, which is around 28, almost 29 cents. And as we mentioned before, we can see this wave 5 come in, pull back, and create that tail where it just goes absolutely crazy. That could be a part of what Vechain does in this next bull run, but who knows? Who knows? I'm just going conservatively off of what we have showing with this pattern. And the next one that we have is the graph. The graph has been around for a while as well. And you could see that same exact pattern forming, the wave 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're waiting now for wave 5. We also received that bullish engulfing candle right here on this support level of wave 4. That's a very bullish sign. It gives us more probability that we will see an uptrend in this wave 5. Now, where do I think this could land? I think in the ballpark of 70 cents for the graph. It could obviously go higher. It could be lower. I do believe in order for this pattern to be valid, it needs to pass 50 cents, which is a psychological number for this crypto. We have all-time highs at almost $3. So of course it could reach there at some point in this next cycle. We could come up, reject off of that 70 cents, and then it create that tail and just kind of go on from there. We don't necessarily know what's going to happen in this video. These types of videos are all for entertainment purposes. This is not financial advice. I'm just sharing with you what I see on the charts, where I'm investing, and just trying to share some of the knowledge that I've gained over the past 2 to 3 years, studying the charts, looking at crypto and stuff like that. So if you like this type of content, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. If this was helpful, if you learned something new, hit the thumbs up button. Thanks so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.